things.
We just keep moving.
We're live. Hello, the internet.
We just kind of sit here at first going,
is it now?
That's the best time to get a picture.
How about now? Surely by now.
Well, we have an audience. At least you can tell they're ready because you can see them.
Yeah, and they bare minimum. If they don't go woo, then you at least get a little like, yeah, there they are, yeah.
Yes. They do the thing, but you know when they're sitting on benches eating lunch, facing away from the stage.
Yeah.
Here we are to do our show, and they just kind of like lift their legs and
Swing the leg, yeah.
Continue like nothing has happened.
My personal favorite is when people are napping on benches by the stage, and then we start the show and they're like, yep, I'm up.
Ready. Ugh, let's do this.
That's usually when we would get the leftover sunglasses because they would have taken them off to set them down. And then we always got a stockpile of sunglasses. Those are my favorites. I found some that had little smiley faces on them. I kept those for years. I'm not kidding.
Don't admit that on the internet.
They left it. I gave it a new home.
I've rehomed your property. Yes.
I waited until the end of the day to take them officially.
Very generous.
How many people have lost things at fairs?
8,000.
Do you know
a day?
Do you know how many of this necklace I've had?
Actually, how many have you had? 5?
I think this is 3, to be honest.
This is 2 for me.
The 2 to row stage has like a graveyard of these in the back.
Yeah, I kept breaking chains.
Yes.
So, lords, ladies, and all kind noble friends, welcome to Vixens UnPlugged.
No.
This is literally all that's happening tonight. We have no specific plans. There's no agenda. There's no like, ooh, what are we going to pull out and do? No, that's next week.
Maybe we'll
there is simply good company, good conversation, and drinks.
Yeah.
And drinks. Huzzah! I have a fairy.
It's really hot.
Oh, that's really pretty for Stephanie.
Lady Rose did it for me.
Oh, she's lovely.
So kind.
Yes.
You know, actually, I think this might be the first time that anyone involved with the Vixens has actually seen me drink.
And now we're not even going to.
You froze, Hera.
I did.
Wait, has seen you drink? That would be crazy if fans have never seen you drink.
No, drinking champagne. Champagne.
The drink that
I talk about it often, but I don't know.
You are most associated with, of course, a glass of champagne.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes. So we've had one other unplugged, right?
We've had 2 official unplugs. I don't know.
This is my first time.
Charge?
You know what I mean.
Cherry.
I'm sorry, couldn't hear a word of that.
I heard cherry.
We popped your unplugged cherry.
Ew.
You did.
Yes, in fact, Thalassa is the only unplugged vixen.
Ooh.
Last time, for those that were here, we discussed what we were drinking, our favorite types of tea, my personal favorite, my favorite type of milk.
It was a very liquid discussion.
It was beveragey.
Oh, goodness. Oh, and
Would you say you moved fluidly from one subject to the other? Hi, everyone. I haven't been here for a while. It's nice to be back.
You gotta dust it off, right? It's been a little while.
I will
I had to like unpack the accent from the box under the bed, dust it off.
Put it back in. Same with this bodice.
Yeah. Unpack the accent, re-strap the bodice.
Yes.
Yes, unpack the accent, pack into the bodice.
That's what it feels like.
Stuff into the bodice, really. This quarantine. All those donuts. And I started working with sourdough. So pumpkin sourdough scones.
Oh my.
Amazing.
That's so many different flavors.
I bet it's delicious.
It sounds amazing.
It's just pumpkin.
And sourdough.
Well, but
The texture is
sourdough's not a flavor.
It can be, but if there's, it's sort of that soury flavor.
Right, but it's a type of bread. Like, would you say wheat bread is a flavor?
So what I would say is that wheat bread tastes different from other bread. Wheat bread tastes specifically like wheat bread. Would I describe it as a particular flavor, the flavor of wheat? I think you have to, yes.
But you normally wouldn't if we weren't talking about it right now.
Well, in what other context would I be considering the flavor of wheat?
Welcome back to the Vixens UnPlugged.
We ask the hard questions here.
You know what? Put your opinion put it in the chat. Is wheat a flavor?
I will say we do have a question in the chat.
Oh,
Already.
Well, I should say earlier today, people have been DMing the Vixens on Insta and on Book of Face. They have wings. In the back.
okay.
I've only had like 3 sips of it.
We rarely sit in our bodices.
We don't.
We never, pre-quarantine, sat in places in front of a camera.
No.
And so, yes, we're discovering new things about ourselves. Oh my God.
Sorry, what was our question from the chat?
Irrelevant now.
Yeah.
People do have questions about bread.
Yep.
I cannot speak now.
I have to ask the bread questions.
I should not be in charge of reading the question.
I'm ready.
Woo! How do we feel about a good pumpernickel bread?
Ooh.
Love a good brown bread, delicious.
Yes.
I personally like mine. I like to do like a fancy version of grilled cheese. Like sliced green apples, turkey bacon, thick slices of cheddar on the pumpernickel, or whatever brown bread you have handy. Delish.
So you're saying that when the pandemic's over, brunch at your place?
In my wing of HQ, yes.
Yeah. In your wing with your hot plate.
No, sorry. Persephone will bring the wings.
I've got the wings.
I'll make them all in a Bunsen burner.
By the way, so in October, I tried to only watch scary movies, and we watched it's a horrible movie, really. The Winchester. Has anyone seen it with Helen Mirren?
I know of the Winchesters.
Yes.
No,
Or also the gun. Is it about,
Yes,
is it about the gun?
She's like her husband created the gun, but it's the house that she lives in is full of ghosts that are haunting her because of what the guns have done, and she has to build on all of these rooms to house all of these ghosts. And I just am like, that's what HQ looks like. HQ is just constantly building on houses in a mansion that we all stay in.
Is HQ also a polemic against gun violence?
I don't know.
We use instead, yes. I did see the advertisement for that, the advertisement for that, and considered it because I am not a scary movie fan at all. I do not like, and like I was terrified by cartoons when I was small. Like I no. But that one I considered simply because Helen Mirren's in it.
It's really not that scary, and the script is, but everything else is fine.
The movie's terrifying, but the film is not.
Well, just the writing. I mean, it's just a little cheesy. You would be fine. Just get some cheesy pumpernickel bread. It'll be great.
I'll make an Athena sandwich, which is not as kinky as it sounds, and watch that movie.
Really depends on the quality with which you make that sandwich.
Fair. That's
Were
fair.
there other bread questions?
Actually, yes.
Topic of the night.
Go on.
Can.
I have to scroll a bit. Savannah feels strongly that bread types are flavors, just so we are aware.
Vindication!
Anna.
Yeah, people feel very strongly about the flavor situation, which I guess I didn't realize people were so serious about bread.
I didn't either.
We are like 8 months into a pandemic where the unifying factor has been bread making.
Well, we are based in New York City, which has really strong opinions about bagels.
Also, really strong opinions about most everything.
And everything.
Yeah.
Now, sourdough is a very strong flavor. Yes, I just wouldn't have thought sourdough pumpkin scones would have been a lot of flavors.
It's a controversial recipe to put
Right.
forth.
I think I still have a pumpkin scone. Do I have a pumpkin scone?
Jeeves! Would you be so kind?
Listen.
All I want is a hand to just appear in frame or out of frame, and then all of a sudden, a scone.
Oh gosh.
Amazing.
My pumpkin buttery topping.
What are you dipping it into?
It's sugar.
Sugar.
I don't know why I asked, actually. I asked that question, and instead, we need to know, where do you get your bread?
I make it. No, really.
I'm not.
I grow it. I feed my sourdough. It's called ooey gooey. So I feed ooey gooey.
No, wait. Did you purchase a brand called Ooey Gooey, or is this the name that you yourself have assigned to the culture?
I have assigned to the culture ooey gooey. It was kind of a temporary name till I could come up with something more clever. But then it's stuck.
All right.
And it's a little scary.
I
Descriptive.
fully support this naming. My two plants that I care about the most, or that are the oldest in my space. One is a coffee plant and one is an aloe plant. And instead of coming up with really clever or Shakespearean names for them, their names are Beanie and Goo Goo for the coffee plant and the aloe plant. So,
Goo goo.
Yeah.
Beanie. I love it. I really thought you were going to go with Rosencrantz and Guildenstern. Or what is it?
Rosenplants and Gilden Fern.
Yeah, that's right.
I thought about it because Beanie, the coffee plant, actually has multiple small babies now. And there were two of them that were about the same size and were completely interchangeable. And so I was like, well, they have to be Rosenplants and Guildenfern. But, you know, we decided to just call them Primus and Secundus and go on from there.
So does Beanie give you beans?
Not yet. But apparently in like 2 years, it might. If we like really go for it and put it in like a half wine barrel kind of thing, you know, like if we grow a tree, we could actually have our own coffee beans. down the line.
That is so.
I'm really pretty.
I do not have a green thumb. In fact, I have a blue thumb. Because I overwater everything. Proof of that is right here. This poor plant.
Oh no.
Persephone, don't look. Don't look.
Come here.
No, that's the problem.
I think that's the problem. I don't even know what this is, or how to take care of it, or what to do with it.
Where'd you get it?
It was really nice though, like 2 months ago.
You know who's really good at just looking at a flower and knowing what it is Marisol. She can look at a flower and go, "That's what that is."
I thought you
helped
were
her out.
gonna say you. I was like, all
Well,
right.
me too. But that one's a little bit beyond repair.
No, I know.
Thalassa, where'd you get that?
It was a birthday present.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's right.
I have plants, but they're over there.
Yeah, mine are all over there. I've got the armory instead.
All right. Are there any other questions have come in?
Should
Well,
we move on from bread?
We might be able to. I don't know about.
I want to answer every bread question that comes in.
Well, I think first we should do a shout out to a username that I'm going to butcher, and I apologize sincerely. But Kinravip.
Yes!
Did I say it right? Great.
Yes.
Yeah. Just wanted to chime in to say that happy news. VIT Carly's mom got her results today. Stem cell transplant 100% successful, and she is cancer free. So
Yes!
Yes!
Oh, congratulations, darling. I'm so glad.
Yes.
Happy
We just
day.
want more time with you.
Yes. Yes.
That's marvelous.
That's so exciting. Gosh, the last time we saw her was at Terrificon.
Oh my God, you're right.
Yes.
That was a lifetime ago.
We did one more year of New York after that, and I can't recall if they were able to make it. I actually think they weren't, if I recall correctly.
I remember her and the Boy Scouts.
Yeah. The Boy Scouts loved Persephone. They did. They sort of loved all of us. They didn't quite know what to do with all of us.
Very sweet.
They were very helpful. And they were certainly very prepared just to sort of, they escorted us places. They kept us on top of our schedule. They were very lovely people. They were very nice.
And Dean Kane.
I'm still a little bitter that I was not performing at Terrificon.
Same.
I think stuck my way in.
We had like the closest thing that's ever come to like an offstage Vixen on Vixen brawl, trying to battle out who would get to go to Terrificon.
Fine.
Yeah.
Or get two sourdough. Bring it back to bread.
Bring it back to bread.
Well, we do have a different question from
Bring it back to
who asked what our favorite fall flavor is.
Ooh, fall
flavor.
I love the flavor of mulled wine.
A lot of flavors.
And can confirm.
Raise your hand if you pre-gamed, Persephone.
I couldn't eat a lot, so I could fit in my bodice. This wine's hitting me hard.
Favorite fall flavor? I mean, I love pumpkin pie. I always have. And I will start eating that in like August if I can. So I'm going to stick with pumpkin pie. Not so much like the pumpkin spice latte thing. For me, putting coffee flavor in with pumpkin and sweet stuff is just not my thing. But pumpkin pie with coffee on the side. Yes, all about it.
Love a pumpkin pie. I'm going to go specific. and say cinnamon. Because what I love is like a hot toddy, which has some cinnamon and other spices in it. I love pumpkin pie. Cinnamon is a prominent flavor there. Any sort of hot cider. I'm gonna be specific and say cinnamon for me. Snickerdoodles, which could be year round.
They should be year round.
My
Could be around.
Oh, say I.
My first thought was actually s'mores, which is not really a fall thing, but having a s'more is what struck me first. But instead, I will say specifically a cider. I don't know if you're familiar with cider, but it is chai and apple cider that make.
It's really good.
And
it's really good.
It's cider.
Really good if you put whiskey in it.
Ooh.
Also, I would kill a man for pumpkin pie. No, pecan pie. Dang it. I like pumpkin pie. I would kill a man for pecan pie.
Really?
I love pecan pie.
That's fair. I mean, no real
that. Bourbon, little chocolate in it.
Mm-hmm. I love that we keep talking about food.
And alcohol.
Yes.
And bread.
And bread.
Carbohydrates are an important part of every day.
How about this?
The food triangle.
I will circle it back to one of the things that we do a lot. A question from Tora wants to know who our favorite Shakespearean clown is.
Oh, that's so good.
It's really hard. Oh, all right. I've got one.
I'm torn between two, but go ahead.
Mine is Festi from Twelfth Night. And here's why. Because in Twelfth Night, Festi is the only character who is not a clown. All of the others are, in fact, clown characters in their way. They're all caricatures. They're all just a little bit insane. And then there's Festi, who's just like, is anyone paying attention to what is happening here? And then plays a song. Like, I love Festi for that reason, because they are the only sane person in that entire play.
That's what I was going to say, was Festi, which always makes me think of Athena, actually, in our holiday video going, Festivus. Oh, wait, was that me? Did I say that?
I didn't think that was me. I had Sir Isaac Newton's birthday.
Oh, I think I said that. Oh.
There was a lot of wassail that night.
You reminds you of me.
I don't know why. I've always associated with you until I just now said it. And I went, wait, I think that was my voice.
That before or after the moment of laughter and then falling over?
Oh, that was so fun.
That was a good time.
I would also say Festi, so.
I'm going to say the fool in Lear.
That's what I was going. I'm so over this.
Good choice.
Well, why do you love the fool in Lear? Okay.
I don't have a good answer necessarily. I just
Right.
My go-to audition monologue is from there. Anyway.
Is it really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So wait, to get really
Do it right now.
What?
To auditions, it's quarantine started. I don't remember it.
No.
I should. I'm a bad actor. Goodness, what is it? Now I'm nervous. It's for something. I'm looking at a laptop.
Right, shut up. And then Athena, you talk about your favorite.
So I love the fool in Lear because I feel like it really truly represents how a clown or jester was employed and utilized historically, which I think is really delightful, and that idea of like speaking truth to power. And this one specific person that I have anointed is allowed to say whatever they want to me, because I have deemed it so. And the fool truly does that, and really calls Leah's behavior out, and does so in a very clever way. And I do think that the writing of Festi makes the best use of the circular logic that fools often employ in order to get the original speaker to realize the hypocrisy of what they've said, or their behavior or what have you. But I think the fool does this in a way that is so clear in Leah. It's Leah clear. I just think that character is a delight. There are also this couldn't actually work without the suspension of disbelief, because we must assume that the fool has been at court since before Act 1, Scene 1. For them, him, usually played by a male, doesn't have to be in any way, for the relationship with Leah to be as open and communicative as possible. But I find it really interesting when theaters do the double casting, which I believe is drawn from original practices. I can't be 100% sure about that, of the fool and Cordelia, because we do not see the fool until after Cordelia's first scene, and then Cordelia goes away for a long time, and it would be foolish in the time of Shakespeare, would not be a good use of your actors, especially when you already have a young man playing a female character, to not make use of a character that then only appears in the time when Cordelia is not there. But the meta text that happens with the audience when you're watching Cordelia, who attempted to speak truth to her father in a metaphorical type of way, and to say truth to him in a way that he could not at the time understand, to run backstage, take her boobies off, funny hat on, run back on stage, and do the exact same thing in a form that Leah can hear, to then return as Cordelia when Leah is ready to listen, I think is a beautiful piece of meta text that can occur in that play.
I really like that a lot. Thalassa, what did you find it?
No. None of King Lear is on the internet, actually.
True. No one at all has ever put the text of King Lear on the internet. Certainly not MIT. Folger Shakespeare Library? Never heard of her.
It's here.
No pressure.
No.
Fine.
This is very funny. This is not what I thought I'd be doing on Shakespeare Unplugged. Who are we? Vixens Unplugged. After drinking an old fashioned.
Ooh.
Here we are.
I almost had Pims tonight.
What?
So I almost had a Pims tonight.
Ooh, yum.
I picked a wine.
Instead, we had an old fashioned, but also this admiration, sir, is much of the savor of other your new pranks. I do beseech you to understand my purposes are right. As you are old and reverend, you should be wise. Here do you keep 100 knights and squires, men so disordered, so debauched and bold, that this our court, infected with their manners, shows like a riotous inn, epicurism and lust, making it more like a tavern or a brothel than a graced palace. The shame itself doth speak for instant remedy. Be then desired by her that else will take the thing she begs, a little to disquantity your train, and the remainder that shall still depend to be such men as may besort your age, which know themselves. And you. Thank you.
Woo!
We are doing I don't like doing something serious. with us.
It's hard, right?
I don't like it. I had to turn it comical because I didn't know how to be mean.
Acting.
Yeah.
Thalassa?
Darling. So then, all right, since we're talking about Lear and we're being nerdy about it, what do you think happens to the Fool, since the Fool kind of disappears over the course of the show? Not just to go put on Cordelia's boobies again and come back out on stage.
I don't know. It's a really tough question. And every production should deal with it, and most, I believe, just go, oh, well, bye, Fool.
Yeah.
And it's so hard to apply that sort of subtextual knowledge in the play unless you're going to do something like the next time we arrive in the throne room, the Fool's hat is like on the chair and there's like a meaningful glance. Other than that, it's really hard to say.
I've seen a couple of productions where the Fool commits suicide.
Then they both, at least the Fool knows the way home still at that point.
Yeah.
There has to be some sort of choice for him to leave, or I don't know. Is it Edmund? Does Edmund happen to the Fool?
Maybe. I mean, I've seen a couple of productions where he gets so disheartened by Lear and the whole process of that he ends up committing suicide. I have seen that. Yeah. The Derek Jacobi version, Jacobi, whatever, you know what I mean. That version had him, actually, it was a really cool stage combat type stunt thing because he actually, trigger warning everyone, but he actually hanged himself from the stage, and it was the actual actor doing it. And of course I was completely, probably a lot of the audience was taken out being like, how did they do it? It was really well done. But yeah, I have seen that happen a couple of times.
Interesting.
Yeah.
A new Shakespearean question from, not very good at reading usernames, Gamoj, says, which Shakespeare play do you wish you could read for the first time again? Not necessarily your favorite Shakespeare play.
Titus.
It might be Titus.
It's so ridiculous. It's so insane. It's so, the journey it takes you on is what? I wish I could read it again so I could have that. What? Wait, what? Did they just do that? What?
Like flip back in the pages to go, wait a minute, we're only this far in. How are people dead already? Like,
right. Yeah. And by the end of it, you go, that many? What? That many limbs? What? I think Titus.
I think it has to be Romeo and Juliet for me. Which I wish I could read that play or be in the audience at an original performance and not know what's coming. I've talked about Romeo and Juliet a lot on some of these programs. It is my favorite, despite many people think it's a simplistic play, or because it's one of the most well-known and one of the first studied by school children, that it isn't a complex play, and I disagree entirely. I've talked about that on here ad nauseum. But I would love to read that play again, or in particular, be in the audience with an audience who, even despite the prologue that happens, does not know how the story is going to go, does not know when Tybalt arrives in Act 3, Scene 1, what's going to happen.
Yeah. I would love to get the opportunity to rediscover Much Ado About Nothing.
That's the other one I was going to say.
Yeah, that play has been an enormous part of my life since I was quite small. And I absolutely love it. And I will candidly acknowledge that the character of Beatrice is like deep-seated in my personal existence and how I function in the world. And I remember what it felt like to encounter that play when I was 13, and how it changed my perspective on so much. And I would love to get the opportunity to find that again, and to find such not just strong female characters, but like strong, voraciously witty, unbelievably funny female characters. Because there are a lot of strong women in Shakespeare, but Beatrice is just, she does not give up. She's very funny. So that would be a fun one for me, for sure.
Thalassa?
Yes, Thalassa, what about you?
Honestly, I was apparently Athena and I are on the same mind link. Because I also was thinking Romeo and Juliet. But because I think sort of like you were saying, is it just gets spoiled before you even see it. You know what I mean? And I think it's such a woohoo, this is such a goofy time. Ooh, look at the balcony. Ooh, look at that. And there's just so much like goofiness to it, to then all of a sudden be like, oh, people are, this suddenly got very serious. Alrighty then. And I think that journey is really cool, and not many people get to actually organically go on that journey, regardless of whether you understand the first line of the entire show. But it getting to go on that ride, I think, is something that not many people, if anyone, really gets to go on anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I could experience that for the first time. No spoilers.
It's like someone getting to watch The Empire Strikes Back and have that reveal actually be a reveal, and not have watched 1.75 movies up to that point, assuming you're starting in chronological release order.
Right.
You're starting in actual, by numerical order. You've had lot of movie up to that point. But yes, getting to actually watch something like that and not have the ending spoiled. # spoilers. Shakespeare.
Yeah.
Come on with that prologue. What are we doing?
I have actually noticed this as in my experience with Hamlet over my lifetime, that every time I see it, not so much every time I read it, but every time I see it, it is a new play to me. Mm-hmm. And to be fair, I think most Shakespeare should be like that. I mean, it's part of why they're so timeless over 400 years. But like Hamlet in particular, when I first encountered it as a teenager, it had a fair amount of baggage, and it was kind of interesting, but not that profound. And then again, later on when I was like 18, and then in my 20s, and now, like, it's completely different depending on where you are in your life. And I did not anticipate that. And it really is cool that every single time I've seen that play, it is a different play to me.
Mm-hmm. Hamlet is one of those that you watch it. I don't know. I watch it, and every single time you can see, oh, don't do that. That you still wish that the characters would get it, and that they don't go the path that they go. Hamlet is one of those for me, and that may be what you were saying, Hera, because you're right. There's so many different versions of Hamlet that you've seen. I think of the public theater doing it, where they completely changed the ending. And I literally went, have I been reading Hamlet wrong my entire life? And I had to go back and look at it because of how they changed it. And
what did they do?
Can I?
Yes.
I worked on that production, so I was there during the generative process. So Hamlet traditionally ends with
spoiler alert.
# spoilers. Sorry. After Hamlet dies, Fortinbras, this character has been mentioned throughout the whole play, comes marching in with an army and is like, Denmark, get your bleep together. I'm in charge now. And what normally happens at the end is that he comes in and Horatio tells the story, and Fortinbras essentially like pardons Hamlet and is like, well, all the people who needed to die have done so. Clean slate, everyone great. Go home. Thanks, Horatio. And then one of the very last lines of the play is go fire the cannon, I believe is the line. I could have that slightly wrong. But it is meant to mean soldier there, announce the coming of Norway. He's from Norway, I want to say. That's like really troubling that I'm not 100% sure on that, but yes. Norway's here to save the day. Sound the cannons. Woohoo! The rottenness in Denmark has been solved. But in this production, which was set on a naval ship, painted entirely white in the background, with columns and like large rivets and all sorts of things, Fortinbras makes the call, go fire the cannons, and one of his soldiers, trigger warning, everyone, for extreme firearm violence. What is about to happen? One of his soldiers pulls out a pistol, shoots Horatio in the head, and we have a blood cannon rigged behind one of the columns that blew all over that white wall. And Horatio falls. No more lines in the play are said. Curtain, there's no curtain in the park, but lights down. Everyone take a bow. Good play.
And we all went. I was like, has that always happened? Have I missed that? What? And we had to go home and read it. We had to go home and reread the end. It was very well done, and it was it was just something so simple, really, that changed the entire way you've seen it. It was so good. It was.
I like that.
It was good. Good job, Athena.
I was only the assistant on that show. I will not take credit for anything that happened. I was simply there to be helpful.
Although, speaking of Hamlet and speaking of really awesome performances, a shout out to our VIT Artemis, who was in virtual high school and was their class is doing Hamlet for the first time. And got to perform Alas Poor Yorick.
So fun.
And get this, wore her vixen hat as she gender bent Hamlet.
Oh, I got goosebumps. I'm crying.
I'm about to cry. Actually, that makes me so happy.
I'm excited. Oh,
that's really good. Also, Hamlet played by someone who's not a typical cisgender male is fun. It's really fun. I really enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's incredible.
It's really cool.
Do we have just a couple more questions on here?
Oh, great.
As I scroll, do we have a favorite Shakespeare comedy play?
I did. No, I'm just kidding.
The hilarious Titus.
I mean, Titus kind of fits. Titus kind of fits as well.
Marriage at the end. Well, there is a marriage at the end.
There is. Ooh, Athena is shook.
No. Not at the very end.
In the middle.
The marriage is at the beginning.
It is at the beginning. Yes.
There's a marriage in the beginning. There's a marriage in the middle, or like towards like not quite the beginning. A couple scenes in.
So, total side note regarding Titus.
My brain went, no. Mucius comes in and marries somebody, and I said, no, he doesn't.
No, Mucius comes in and gets stabbed immediately. I played that track. Yes, but side note about Titus, I really enjoyed watching the Vixens Unrehearsed and watching the three of you who had no experience with that play, figure out that play. It was really fun. I was crying. It was marvelous.
God, yeah, I lost it. The dragon.
I lost when Athena brought out the eggs to be the heads of people.
I didn't know what else to do.
She couldn't tell the difference between which egg. She had like 2 eggs that I think were the same color, and finally was like, wait, which one's which?
I actually think I think I had 2 different. I think I had a white one and a brown one, so that which I took out of my fridge.
Oh, you're right.
That I could differentiate. No idea who was who.
But you did draw faces on them by the end.
That is what I did with my time while Breeza was going and getting her things. I drew faces on eggs.
Oh my gosh.
Right from the Vixen. Favorite comedy? That's hard. I mean, I do think Titus is a good combination of tragedy and comedy. Kind of ticks all the boxes, as it were.
I don't think it's supposed to be, though.
It's not, but that's what makes it so fun.
Like when a bad movie doesn't know it's a bad movie.
Yeah,
It makes it a better bad movie.
But it's kind of like it's like Coriolanus, right? Where it's not supposed to be funny, but then you watch a Vixen show.
I can't not do it with my hands.
You know, we did Coriolanus. The best audience we ever had was in front of an elementary school audience. They showed up, and we all. Who was it? It was you. Was it Athena?
It was you and me and.
Was it
probably
Hera?
Atlanta.
It was Hippolyta.
And we were at Connecticut Ren Fair. I'll never forget. And we used to.
Atlanta. I don't remember when in the season it was.
I know, but we would switch shows, right? We had an A show and a B show. Well, this time slot was to be Coriolanus, and the entire audience filled with children and
like 10-year-old boys.
Yes, to old boys essentially. And we were backstage having an existential crisis. Going, do we switch? Do we switch and do the other show? What was the other show that year?
Probably Romeo and Juliet. Let's be real.
No, the year that we did Coriolanus, Hamlet. It was Hamlet.
Oh yeah,
it was Hamlet.
So we said, do we switch it? But we'd already had the prop set, and it was time to start, and we were like, we can't do this, and so we did it. Oh my gosh, the best audience reaction we'd ever gotten to that show. They lost their minds, and we went, oh, I get it now. I get it.
This show is juvenile.
Yeah.
There are some moments in that show that I really enjoy, though. Like, I think it was earlier this year that I reread it because we were going through all our scripts. That's what it was. We were going back through all our scripts. And I reread that play, and I remember I sent a note to Atalanta being like, this show is funnier than I recalled. Getting to play Brutus and Sicinius, the senators, as Statler and Waldorf is one of my fondest memories. Like,
so
it's funny. There's some really funny moments in there.
Vixen's backstage moment, perhaps. I think I have to tell the story of the ride home after that show. It was
oh my god,
right? So it was Athena, Atalanta.
That time was definitely Atalanta.
Yes, definitely Atalanta. So we were in our carriage on the way home after the show, and we stopped off at a food vendor place.
Like one of those rest stops where you put the horse in the carriage. You put the gas in the car, and you can also go inside, and it's not just like rows of candy bars. It's like, here's...
It was a sandwich vendor, there were pretzels. I think
this one was a Subway.
Right. It was a Subway. There was a woman named Annie was there. You know, it was really lovely stop. So we're in our get-ups, minus bodices, but hair, makeup, the whole bit. Our boots.
Still tights and boots.
And we show up to the counter, and the person looks at us like we're crazy and goes, where are you coming from? And we're like, we just came from the Connecticut, had to have been Connecticut Ren.
It was.
And he said, well, I'll give you a free sandwich if you do some sword fighting for us. And so
He didn't believe us. He'd asked us, where are you coming from? What do you do there? And we were like, we're an all-female sword fighting Shakespeare. We're very tired. We've been performing for 9 hours. Please give me a sandwich.
I just want a sandwich. So then he goes, you do a sword fight for us and I'll give you a free sandwich. And so we were like, oh, we don't have our swords with us. And so then I looked at Atalanta because in Coriolanus, there's a great fight. It's actually a knife fight between the two characters, Coriolanus and
Thalassa of Phidias.
Thalassa of Phidias. That's right. Thalassa of Phidias.
Bow wow.
Yeah.
So we looked at each other, Atalanta and I. We went, do you just want to do the knife fight? Yeah, okay, we'll do the knife fight. So then we just went in the middle of this rest stop. Everyone stopped and was like, ooh. And then the guy behind the counter was like, ooh. And we stopped and we were like, sandwich, please.
And I'm standing off to the side because I'm not in that fight. And I was just like,
Yeah. She was like, I'm bound. Please stand back, everyone. Please stand back.
That's incredible.
Got a free sandwich that night. It was so much fun. Anyway, Coriolanus.
I would actually
Not
like
a comedy, though.
because the question was, what is your favorite Shakespearean comedy? I'm actually now curious to pivot this.
we didn't actually, no one has answered that question.
No.
I want to know everyone's favorite Vixen show.
Ooh. My favorite comedy is Much Ado About Nothing.
That's my favorite comedy too.
I don't know. They're all my favorite.
It's hard because so many memories go with certain shows, right? Like, what?
That's why I'm asking.
Oh, yeah.
Which one are you attached to? Be biased.
I mean,
She's gonna say the same thing that she's been saying all night.
I loved
One answer.
it so much. I do like other Shakespeare plays. Don't worry. The putting Titus together was so much fun. It was because, certain vixens, depending on when shows are being put together, are the ones who really put in the blocking and the choreography and things like that. So I was part of the building of Titus. So it has a special place in my heart because of that. And, just there's certain things that go along with it, like the karambit, and baby getting lost on top of rooftops. There's just so many funny memories that go with it that I associate it with that. And so that's why Titus is one of my favorites. I do love Macca's as well.
I think Macca's is my favorite of our shows.
I think it's just so cleverly put together. I think it really captures the show in such a great way. I think I might be biased. I think a lot of our shows are really approachable, to people who don't know Shakespeare very well. But I just love Macca's. I love how it, like I said, put together. I love our version of it. I love the 5 minutes of it. I think Macca's and Titus are probably my favorites.
I've had the opportunity, especially in recent years, to play every single role in Macca's, which definitely lends itself to my feeling very, very good about it. But because I've played every role on it, I can speak that there's so much joy to be found no matter what you're doing in that show. And I love how easily an individual vixen can put her spin on any particular track in that show, from how you're interpreting either side of the Scottish play conversation that happens, and how when you're playing opposite Thalassa, who's being very mischievous with that, versus when I might step into the role and I just don't understand why you're being so superstitious about this nonsense, and it's so malleable. Plus, it's so much fun, and I really love the audience, the object that comes on stage. That makes it different every single time, and it's just a joy to be able to figure out what are we going to do with this thing, and how are we going to make this funny and different this time.
Yeah, I enjoy all the Vixen shows that I've done. I have enjoyed very much. Titus also has a special place in my heart because it's just so weird. But my favorite is the dueling show. It's been the dueling show since we created it back in 2011. I love that show. It's really fun, and it's really clever, and it's really fast. It's just incredibly witty and really fun to listen to. It almost goes a little too fast in its moments, because there's so much text in it, but the structure of it is just golden. It's really fun, and I love that show a lot.
Now I'm thinking about the pirate show.
I was just about to say the pirate show, which
I have conflicting feelings about the pirate show.
Yes, conflicting feelings. I remember. I think Hera. It was maybe you and maybe
the three of us.
Was it the three of us
together that season?
Oh my gosh, I remember. Yes, conflicting with the pirate. But then one day, I'll never forget, Kim Angel was in the audience with her clan. Yeah. And I don't know what it was. I was exhausted. I was over it. I don't know what it was. I just had this, I don't care attitude. And I threw all caution to the wind. And it was the most fun I'd ever had at that show. Kim was, I'll never forget it. I can see it clearly, was losing her mind in the audience, laughing so hard because all of us were just like, just didn't get it. It's like a parrot and like a thing and hopping around. And I don't know what it was, but from that moment on, that's when I went, okay, I really like this show. It was like it clicked finally. It just took months to get there, but it clicked and I went, I love it so much. That's a good one too.
There are some really fun moments in that show, and it is a fun time. It's just not without its difficult memories of trying to get everything to fit in that show, and that's also a Vixen show. But what?
The blocking for this section where we were like, become a boat. I have like actual recurring nightmares putting that together.
And
I have recurring nightmares.
It's like
I have recurring nightmares about doing the entire song of the Pirate King in the first iteration of the pirate show. That was the thing that happened, and then it got cut a lot, and that was a good choice.
I think because we soon realized that not everybody can sing.
You do fine.
I rap.
You do. You rap, and you do it wonderfully well. But that's also a show where my track, or track B, the track that I usually play, doesn't get a break. That's the show where it's like I am in every fight all the time, and when it's 95 degrees and 80% humidity, it's a lot. So that's a harder one. Yeah. Thalassa, what's your favorite?
Thalassa.
I was pondering because sort of like Persephone was saying of how every show kind of has memories attached to it that you're just like, yeah, but like I think I love doing Macca's, but I often think to specifically in Maryland performing it and fighting against Electrina and just not being able to keep a straight face because she's so expressive and funny, and it's not fair that I'm supposed to be angry and dying, but she's so funny. I can't even go back. It's just, oh, it's so funny. I just think about that moment. Or I think back to my first season ever performing with the Vixens with Persephone. And I think about the first day that we were going to do Richard III, and it just downpoured, and no one came to our show. And we were like, should we do? We shouldn't do it. We should do it. We need the rehearsal. We should do it. And we just grabbed a cast member and we're like, hey, can you just be with us for 30 minutes? Are you busy? And we just did this full performance in the rain by ourselves. And it was hilarious. Or
Best show. Best we've ever done.
You dropped your prop and body slammed me.
Wait, I did?
It was the whirlwind of villainous activity.
Oh my God.
I stopped and you dropped something and I couldn't tell because you were behind me. And rather than using your hands to catch whatever you dropped, you just pushed your body against mine to hit the ground. And I broke, to say the least. I think I started crying and could not continue with the plot for a solid minute and a half. And
it's very hard to bend over in this body. I needed help.
Back to the image that you found actually quite recently of me backstage after one of those performances. It's just a funny picture. Anyway, but I think
Get that right.
I'll post it tomorrow.
So Richard III has the good moments too.
But I guess I would say Romeo and Juliet is my final answer, just because similarly, I had actually never performed Romeo and Juliet before, and so I knew of it, but I had actually never done it. If you know what I mean. So this was my first experience getting to really dive into the character and talk about the text more than just in a classroom environment, and getting to be welcomed into the fold, and then getting to perform it, and it's really cool. And that's my answer.
I love that.
Ding.
It's fun talking about all these shows that we've done. We've done so many.
We've done a
We've
lot.
been around a long time. Yeah. And we reached a point.
But we're not going to be around for much longer tonight. In this
Stephanie needs to go to bed.
smooth transition.
I do need sleep. No. I think I found the picture, Thalassa. I'm just saying.
Great. Put up tomorrow.
Is it the one with the chicken?
I look forward to seeing this. I do, very much.
So good.
Well, thank you for joining us, everyone. Thank you for all of the questions. This was actually really, really fun.
Did we get to the questions?
There are probably a few more bread ones that we missed, but I think also
You can tag us on all social media to ask us all of your bread questions. And we'll slice into them. We'll
need to go through them.
Ooh, that's much better. That was good.
Little crusty.
I was trying to work crusty in and I couldn't get there.
It's okay, you brought it to heel.
Ooh. Nice. Nice.
if you want to help us get that bread, you can Venmo us. at Vixens on God.
We loaf you all.
Oh, thanks
Thanks,
everyone.
loves.
Love you all.
Bye.